Okay, let's start. We should see something going live. Okay, we'll now start our session here. So, Bitcoin and where to go from here. Okay, now we can start our Soul of the Market. Uh, in 1 minute, actually, we can start exactly at 8:30 p.m. or 20:30 p.m. So let's do it right now. Alright, welcome to Soul of the Market. It's now 24th of April 2022. So we just started our second quarter for the year 2022. So we're going to talk about right now still Bitcoin. We're just focused on Bitcoin. We're not going to talk about NFTs, shitcoins, or other altcoins. This channel is only focused on Bitcoin and how are we going to strategize our investments, our moves, our plans in relation to Bitcoin, nothing else. Okay, so because why? The question is why Bitcoin and nothing else? Because only Bitcoin is what? The most reliable proof of work technology out there. When we say proof of work, meaning this it's not just about encrypting your data, encrypting your transaction, or making payments through encryption, being you anonymous, being being private, and being able to move your money from one place to another. So proof of work is more on you have to prove that you are you, and then you are doing something about it, so that I can actually permit you to do it on my end. So our transaction is always based on proof of work. So proof of stake is another thing which will be done through the Lightning Network. So yung Bitcoin right now is now two layers. There is a Lightning Network and the main chain, or the main blockchain, or the main net. Okay, so it's a separate two layers now. So you have the Lightning Network and the main chain. So the Lightning Network is used to what? Is used to do transactions or small amount of payments. Like for example, if you're buying coffee, if you're buying groceries, those are just a small amount of payments, like from equivalent of 10,000 pesos, 100,000 pesos worth of satoshis or worth of Bitcoin transactions. All right. So, but when we do on chain, the mainnet, those are the large transactions, like millions worth of Bitcoin, billions worth of Bitcoin moving through the blockchain. All right, so that's the difference. Okay, but we're not going to talk to go through the details of the Lightning Network, because we've done it already in the past with our during our Facebook live streams months before, and since nobody is talking about it as like how Soul of the Market does it, how Soul of the Market understands it. So we will now going to focus on Bitcoin and where to go from here, moving forward. Okay, so right now let me share my screen, because I think Bitcoin right now is trading at 39. Let me transition into that. Right, so Bitcoin is now trading at 39,587.40 US dollars. Alright, so meaning it's just crossing, the price action is just crossing below 40 and above 40. So usually parang axis niya yung 40, the 40,000 line. Okay, the 40,000 US dollar line. So yun yung kanyang pinaka-axis now. So doon siya naglalaro. Alright, so that's how Bitcoin now. But to me or to other Bitcoiners, it doesn't matter anymore whether it's Bitcoin is even $20,000 or even $100 na lang. Kasi that's not how we treat Bitcoin anymore. Bitcoin is not just cryptocurrency. Actually, it's not a cryptocurrency. Because if you say this is a cryptocurrency, it will be subjected to regulations. Okay, but Bitcoin cannot be regulated. Bitcoin is not touchable by the government. In fact, Bitcoin will regulate how the government behaves. You get the point now? Why? Later on, as we move along, you will see that how Bitcoin is a pain in the neck to some of the government's action and central banking action, because this one actually forces them to be honest and forces them to be honest about how they actually do their work. Like for example, inflation is not organic. Okay, it's not they call it progressive increase of the cost of everything. But inflation is actually the true product of central banking. So there's no way going around that argument anymore, because it's now being exposed that central banking's job is just to what? Is to just stabilize inflation, which is what? Which is their true product. Without inflation, things will just be fine. Like for example, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, nothing else. Okay? Because we're no longer using any other form of exchange, any other form of transactions except Bitcoin. All right. So we're not being Bitcoin fanatic. We're not being Bitcoin maximalist without a reason. Everything here has been researched and actually studied carefully. Not only studied, we're practicing what we preach. Actually, I'm running my own lightning network. Let me show you what it looks like right now. So I have my lightning node. It's called this one. Running on my own local network, and it's actually what? Contributing to the security of the whole lightning network. Not only that, it's also doing something to forward transactions to other lightning networks so that all other transactions will be secured and fast. Okay, so how does this one work? Let me log in. So I have two lightning nodes. I don't know if other investors or finance gurus or stock gurus here in the Philippines are running their own lightning node hardware myself. So okay, this is my own lightning network running on Raspberry Pi. So if you research what's a Raspberry Pi, let me go to Google Raspberry Pi. So one of the this is Lazada. Okay, Raspberry Pi. So, sino bang who among these gurus are running their own Raspberry Pi lightning node network? Okay, so a Raspberry Pi is actually a small computer. Okay, so this is a Raspberry Pi. So a small computer. This is just the size of that. One is running behind my monitor right now. I don't know if I can move my camera down there. I don't think so. But anyway, this is a Raspberry Pi desktop computer. It's just a very small computer. Maliit lang yan. Okay, so it's just this big. Okay, and then my Lightning node is running on this website right now is running on this size of computer. And what does it do? It forwards transactions, it secures transactions, and do routing payments for other Lightning networks. For example, in El Salvador, if one coffee shop in El Salvador is accepting Bitcoins through Lightning payments, one of the nodes that can actually process that payment is this one. Okay, so what happened when that is being done through the Lightning network? This one can collect satoshis as a transaction fee. So when we are, like for example, you have the max send, max receive, meaning this node is actually sending out payments and receiving payments without me having to watch it over and over again. So meaning it's making about 10 satoshis a month, or it's making about 5 satoshis, 1 satoshis a month, since one satoshi is just that. 1 satoshi is how much right now? 1 satoshi is BTC. So 1 satoshi is how many zeros that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So just more than a million of a Bitcoin in satoshi. So 0.1 BTC. Alright, so my 1 satoshi is equivalent to how many pesos is that? We talk about 0.1 BTC to PHP. Okay, that's wrong. That's not 2 million. Okay, that's 1 Bitcoin. Right here. Let's do it right here. So ang galing ni Google, it can actually. Yep. Okay, so it's 1 satoshi is 0.21 cents, peso cents. So 1 satoshi. So if you have 10 satoshis, that's multiple by 10, di ba? So that's 21 cents. But if you're making 10 satoshis, if you're making 100 satoshis every month, starting now, diba? That's 2 pesos every month, diba? But again, we're talking about 1 Bitcoin being $40,000. What if 1 Bitcoin next year is $1 million? And it's not really a remote possibility. Okay, because the way the inflation is happening right now, 1 Bitcoin, diba, can reach actually $1 million. So if one Bitcoin is $1 million, I think this is no longer 2 pesos a day transaction. Alright, so let me see. This is how the Lightning Network runs. Okay, so this is the Lightning Network. I'm not going to show you the dashboard for the Bitcoin mining. Later on, once we have set up the Bitcoin dashboard, we will show it to you how it is actually be your path to the real financial freedom without being under the control of the fiat currency or the central banking. But anyway, this is how it is right now. So if I'm talking about Bitcoin, I'm not only doing my studies and my research. We actually understand it more than any other financial gurus out there, because Bitcoin is meant to be understood by what people like us who write codes, and then later on people like you who can just plug and play it into your household and then start making money from the Bitcoin, or start earning Bitcoins and then using it as your medium of transactions. Alright, so this is why I'm only focused on Bitcoin. I'm not focused on NFTs. I'm not focused on Axie Infinity or anything or any garbage like that. Okay, so it's nice to see how how they made money on the news, but stories don't make you money. Okay, so it's ano lang, pinapasaya lang kayo nun. But the real deal is now moving to this particular platform, the Lightning Network and the main Bitcoin network. All right, so let's go now to our slide. Let me run my slide deck for tonight so we can actually talk about strategies for the second quarter and beyond. Let me do that. Okay, so Bitcoin and where to go from here. Facts-based second quarter strategies. But before we talk about strategies, let me talk about inflation. Kanina ko sinasabi yung inflation and monetary policies. Alright? So, inflation is not organic. Okay, invento lang ng tao yan. It was invented by man. It was invented during what? During the course of the evolution of the monetary system. So while the monetary system doesn't stay this way, especially in an inflationary debt-based financial system, so it will not going to stay forever in one single plane. Okay, and in my understanding and the way I see Bitcoin right now, only Bitcoin will going to what? Stabilize everything. Okay, why? Why? Because one, Bitcoin is inherently stable. Okay? Bitcoin economy in a Bitcoin economy, Bitcoin does not need price stabilization policies. Unlike the central banking, the fiat, the inflation, they need to stabilize their prices, etc. They need to stabilize the oil prices, the commodity prices, because behind all this scam is the inflation. So yung inflation, yun talagang yung produkto ng central banking. And without inflation, central banking is useless. So take note of that. Without inflation, central banking is useless. Okay? Then, 1 BTC is always 1 BTC. And whatever you priced against it, your products, your services, it's going to remain 1 BTC. Like for example, if you're charging yourself for the skill that you acquired over the years as, let's say, 500 pesos an hour or 1,000 pesos an hour, you can just charge instead 0.10 or 0.5 Bitcoin an hour, and you don't need to increase the price as you grow old or as you grow along. So meaning the only reason you're gonna increase your price, the price of your services, if you desire something from yourself or desire something for yourself. Like let's say you want a bigger house, you want a nicer car, then that's the only time you will increase your value or your price. You're not going to increase your value because the monetary or there's no inflation anymore. There's no central banking system that tells you to increase your price because we're going to increase the inflation rate. Not anymore. Not anymore in a Bitcoin economy. The only reason you're going to increase your price in a Bitcoin economy is what? If you desire something for yourself. Like I said, if you want a better life, a better environment, then let's say for example, if you're charging 0.50 BTC, then you should be charging 1 BTC for your services or for your products. Something like that. That's the only reason you're going to increase your price in a Bitcoin economy. And then since there will only be 21 million Bitcoins in circulation once every blockchain or once every block of Bitcoin is mined, it will stop at 21 million Bitcoins. Okay, so the mining will stop at 21 million Bitcoins. Unlike what? Unlike the ETH 2.0, they decided to what? They decided to stop mining by Ethereum 2.0, which will be, I think, will be released should be this month. Okay, the Ethereum 2.0 will make mining obsolete. Ethereum mining obsolete, but without what? without any other incentive to the miners. Meaning, if you invested in hardware or GPUs to mine Ethereum, what what what's next? Nothing anymore, because they will going to move to the proof of staking. Okay? Proof of staking is just similar to inflation. Unlike Bitcoin, once 21 million Bitcoin has been mined and is already in the circulation, what's next to the Bitcoin miner is they will be what? Incentivized or compensated for staying in the network and securing the Bitcoin network and securing every transaction that moves around Bitcoin or the blockchain. This is why Bitcoin is not a cryptocurrency. This is why Bitcoin is not a crypto asset. This is why Bitcoin is not anything that your financial guru understands. It's too ahead for that. Okay? This is why Bitcoin fixes every economic crisis in the world. This is what fixes everything. Okay? Bitcoin fixes every economic crisis in the world. So mali lang yung pagkakatype ng last point. The removal of the inflation from the removal of the debt-based financial system fixes everything, okay? Fixes whatever economic crisis we're experiencing right now. Kasi yun naman talaga yung pinagtatakpan nila Yellen and all other central bankers, the European central banks, the Bank of International Settlement, the World Economic Forum of Klaus Schwab, and the IMF of Christine Lagarde. Okay, so yun lang yun. Okay, that's the only thing they're trying to cover up, the inflation. Because now, people are starting to realize inflation is actually the cancer of the society. Alright? So what's next? So now we understand that this is the facts-based second quarter strategy. So now let's move to the strategy itself. The reason I'm having the Legend Nano as my photo, my favorite photo for this session. Okay, commitment. Your strategy should be based on commitment. So you have to start buying without an intent to sell, because the reason for that is you're not going to give chance to the shorters, the Bitcoin shorters. In fact, there's no such thing as Bitcoin shorters now, because nobody's going to what? Nobody's going to lend you Bitcoin to short that. Who's going to lend you Bitcoin to short that? Not MicroStrategy, or not, I don't think JPM, or I don't think the government of El Salvador will going to lend you Bitcoin so that it can be shorted. That's not how it works. So people who are smart enough, like for example, MicroStrategy of Michael Saylor, they buy Bitcoin without an intention to sell. They move their Bitcoins out from the exchanges into their cold wallets. An example of the cold wallet is the Ledger Nano, and an example of the cold wallet is my Lightning Node network, my Lightning Node. So it serves as my cold wallet. It's outside the exchange. Whatever Bitcoin is in my Lightning Node network, it's outside the exchange. So meaning nobody can confiscate that, nobody can freeze that, no government can actually what? Freeze any Bitcoin asset I'm holding. So meaning I will use the term asset as just an item to identify Bitcoin, but it's not really a crypto asset. Okay? It's not really a cryptocurrency. So when we talk about cryptocurrency, you should take out Bitcoin out of the definition, because Bitcoin is too ahead of that. And cryptocurrency, when we talk about cryptocurrency, we're only talking about Ethereum and other derivatives coming out of that, which we call hilariously as shitcoins. Okay? But anyway, that's what Bitcoin is all about. So move your Bitcoins from exchanges, and second point, soon, okay, because mining right now is too technical. Bitcoin mining is too technical. Soon, every household will have to mine using what? Just a plug and play miner, a desktop miner. It doesn't have to be an ASIC miner because an ASIC miner can be what? Can be a scam, okay? But soon you will going to find, you will going to have a lot of choices on what kind of desktop miner you can use to mine Bitcoin or to secure Bitcoin. Once after 100 years, the last block will be mined, the last block is mined, and your Bitcoin is simply collecting or being compensated for securing the network. Okay, so households soon mining and running a Lightning Network will be as ubiquitous as the water tap. So if you have a water tap, may gripo kayo sa bahay. So it's as going to be as ordinary as the water tap. So parang ano lang yan. It's a must, okay? Sa bahay, kailangan meron kang mining rig, a desktop miner, and a Lightning Network running side by side, which means it gives you not basic income, okay? It generates you your sustainable income. Okay, so if you want more income, you have to put on more mining nodes. You have to put on more Lightning Network nodes. That's the way it is. And then you have to what? You have to add value to what you're doing, whatever skill you have. So that's commitment. That's your strategy for the second quarter. You start building up your Bitcoin or your Satoshis. Start stacking up your Satoshis with your ledger or with your hardware wallets. Don't put your Bitcoins in exchanges, okay? Because in exchanges they will require KYC, and government and exchanges are under what? Under government regulations. The exchanges can freeze your wallets, okay? So you have once you purchase your Bitcoins, move it immediately to your hardware wallets. And if you want to liquidate it to a fiat currency, which is not part of the plan, okay, then in case of emergency, just transfer a little, okay, transfer a few, something like that. Okay, the hard times aren't predicted. That's why part of the strategy, the hard times aren't predicted. Those are intended. So whatever the government is talking about right now, food shortages, energy disruptions, climate lockdowns, these aren't forecasts. These are intentions. Okay? So they are trying to what? They're trying to wear you down until you what? Until you give in to them. So there's no such thing as democracy running in any government right now. They are trying to lock you down and try to control you. That's why we have this pandemic or scamdemic. Okay? And then, yeah, once freedom is won, this is how it's going to look like. I think this slide is part of the previous sessions we have from Facebook, I think. So, yeah, once freedom is won, meron kang mining rig that generates you income, a mining rig and a Lightning Network. And it's probably powered by an off-grid power generator, which can be a diesel generator, a gas generator, or a solar cell or solar panel, or whatever is that. As long as you're running this at home, then you have you don't have a basic income. You have a sustainable income. That's why I put it the average jobless Joe miner, because Joe miner, ahead of everything, build up his Bitcoin mining rig, and then this Bitcoin mining rig can pay for whatever: phone, water, groceries, gas automatically. Yep. Okay, so that's it for our Lightning sessions. So next week we're going to discuss still on Bitcoin. We're not going to go away on Bitcoin. Okay, so if you have any other resources about Bitcoin, start learning about them. But most of the Bitcoin education or Bitcoin knowledge right now is focus towards how to make money or how to make US dollars. So that's not basically the point of doing Bitcoin. Alright, so I think this is it for the Sunday, and thank you very much for watching. Solve the market. I am now ending my transmission.